Back when we had pagers, I got paged out on Christmas morning, sitting in church for our Christmas morning service, and we had a guy. And of course, I'm out on the SWAT team. He actually poured gas all over himself and the house, and I had that SWAT call out on Christmas morning.
I'm Ryan Gresham, and this is Gun Talk Nation. This Gun Talk Nation brought to you by Caldwell, Ruger, Range Ready, Smith & Wesson, and Vortex. Hey, welcome into Gun Talk Nation. Today on Gun Talk Nation, we're going to talk about training. We're going to talk about force on force. We've got Mike McCaslin from T4E. It's one of the companies we work with on the First Person Defender show. And Mike, you travel all around the country working with law enforcement and training them up. And obviously, they've been using this type of stuff for years to get that real life training, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I always try to explain to people, because most regular gun folks don't get to do this type of training. And I always attempt to explain to them how it's different than square range shooting your real gun at a cardboard target that's not moving.
Correct.
How do you explain it to people when you say, but this is different?
This is a lot different. It's going to be more based, real life based than, like you said, shooting at a cardboard target that's not attacking back. We do, my 20 plus years in law enforcement, we did force on force as much as we could, at least once a month, because I was also active with the SWAT team for years. But the force on force is a great training tool. As time has gone on, the force on force training weapons have gotten better and better from when I was in to now.
Yep. Yeah, we started First Person Defender about 14, 15 years ago. And the idea back then, I mean, I don't come from a law enforcement background, but the idea was law enforcement does this type of training. And I guess the easiest way to explain it to people, which this is not the accurate way, but it's the easy way to explain it, is it's like paintball, but it's not a game. We're actually doing real training. And so back then, these were different types of projectiles. You had different companies doing it. Simunitions and Force on Force was actually a brand, I think, as well. And then you had some other companies doing this stuff. But shooting, and it was conversion kits on real guns, and usually law enforcement, because law enforcement, military are the ones who get to train with it. Our idea was, well, civilians could benefit from this too. People who are interested in training, maybe they're avid concealed carry practitioners.
Sure.
So that was the idea of putting regular people into scenarios. Talk about kind of where you've seen it change over the years, and where did it start from?
Well, everything has been, just in my experience through the years, it's always been paint. Of course, if you're training, you work night shift like I did, working in narcotics and stuff of that nature. By the time you get home, you're going to train how you play how you train. I was an instructor. I still am currently an instructor for one of our local agencies part-time. But it was always irritating to be done after a long, hot day of training and have to go wash paint off. So with our products, we not only have paint, we also have rubber, and we also have a powder, a chalk ball. It's like a food-grade talcum. It smells like baby powder. So it's a lot cleaner. A lot of our businesses that LEUs or a school, that may allow them to use training. They like the chalk a lot better because the cleanup is drastically easier and a lot safer.
So we did a fun thing when we got y'all stuff in a few years back. We straight up just shot one of our guys with all the different types of guns and different projectiles to see what it was like, which was kind of a funny video. If you want to look back and you're comparing T4E projectiles, you can see our buddy Kevin Jarnigan, KJ, getting shot. But the chalk rounds hurt, right?
They do. They all hurt. And I get that a lot. A lot of guys say, they'll ask me, does it hurt? Well, it's not going to hurt bad, but it's going to give you enough tension to hopefully fix that complacent action you did to get shot with in the first place. It needs to inflict a little bit of pain. We're not talking something permanent or a permanent injury, but we do want to get the attention. It needs to fix the complacent action that took place. That's why you got shot in the first place. So
I like the way you say that. Fix the complacent action. Another way I've heard it say is there has to be a pain penalty, which I
Sure,
am all
sure.
for because I've seen it, Mike, and you've probably seen it too. If somebody put a person into a scenario and maybe they're wearing too much padding or whatever, right? And they get hit, but it just doesn't really, either it doesn't register at all that they've been hit, which isn't
Right.
really helpful for training, or there's not much of a pain penalty there. They're kind of like, yeah, whatever. And it's like, no, man, you screwed up. You
Right.
should be, because when they get hit and it hurts, they learn like the psychological part of like, you need to fight through it, even though we coach them up. And obviously, yeah, no one's getting injured. It's just, it stings,
Right.
right? And it's okay. Dang, I just got shot. Yeah, now you're realizing this
Right.
just happened and you're fighting through that. You keep moving. And also you're realizing, well, something I just did wasn't right, perhaps, because I shouldn't have been shot.
Right. Like I said, it's changed a lot. I think it's gotten a lot better as time went on. Back when when like simunition and stuff first came out, the weapons were super light, very delicate. You couldn't do a mag drop or they would break. You'd have to plunge the gun every fourth or fifth shot, depending on the temperature outside. Things have progressed a lot since then through the years as far as training.
Yeah, the conversion kits, they'd get dirty and stuff would jam up, and it was very, very, very common to have lots of jams and that type of thing, which, on one hand you could say, oh, well, you get to train jams, but sometimes that's not the point.
Right.
And so you want these guns to run reliably.
Right.
The other part that's a really big deal for how you guys approach this
Right.
is this is not a conversion kit on a real gun.
No.
And the conversion kit on real gun, I mean, if you pay attention to this, there have been accidents that have happened with law enforcement training. They switch over, they put their gun back together, they go to lunch, they come back from training, and now you're like, is it a real gun or is it? And there's safety protocols in place, but it's just one other thing that could get messed up.
It could be very
And I tell you
important.
what, Mike, when we've been filming this show, we've done hundreds of episodes. You talk about losing sleep. Back when we used to convert real guns into training guns and back into real guns and back into training guns, it'll make you lose some sleep. I tell you what.
Oh yeah, yes, for sure.
Yeah, the way you guys approach is pretty cool.
Well, like I said, you're not like you said. We're not doing adaptive slides or anything that nature. Ours is a complete system. It has the actual almost to the T, depending on what brand the department carries. We've tried to make it realistic as possible with the same weight all the way. I mean, as close as we could. The mag, the same weight, the slide, the blowback, everything. How it would work as your regular duty weapon, and also to fit your duty holster for training.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you guys talk about it much, but T4E is a part of Umarex. Umarex is known for their replica guns and training guns. I mean, so like when we talk about like these T4E guns, it's not just some random pistol shaped gun. I mean, it is a Smith & Wesson M&P or an HK VP9 or a Walther PDP, or
Correct.
a Glock. I mean, they fit the holster and everything, right?
Yes, you can even add the accessories, like if they carry a Surefire tack light or a TLR tack light, they'll fit under there. We do have one out of all of our T4E guns that is optic ready, because that seems to be a thing now. A lot of departments are going to optics. I have mixed feelings with that, but it is what it is. I'm old school. I'll admit I do have one firearm that does have optics, and I do like it. But we have others that will be optic ready in the near future. It's just the popularity in the optic mounting. Being optic ready is a big thing right now.
I'm glad to hear that, because that was something we were running into the same thing. We were working with optics companies, and people want to test that and run it into these scenarios. But Mike, you sound like Chris Serino, our trainer here. He's like, yeah, I mean, red dots on guns. I mean, I shoot more accurately and faster with them, but I hate them.
Right. Well, like I said, I still do. I'm still a part-time instructor. I'm still in law enforcement, and I make the younger guys, play how you train, try how you play. That was a big thing with me. Is okay, your optic went out. Let's see how you do with your iron sights with that optic on there. You can see through it, and I make them do it. I make them do it. I'm not trying to be mean, but I want them to come home alive. That was my number one goal when I was a supervisor in law enforcement full time. I just want to make sure everybody come home alive at the end of the shift every night.
It is funny when people are like, well, what if the optic breaks, or what if the batteries go out, in a scenario or in real life?
Right.
You're like, well, just use the sights and shoot.
Right.
Shoot the bad guy.
Right. Right. They're a great training tool. They're a great training tool. We have a less lethal line too. We do a little bit less lethal, but with the T4E, our training for engagement, it's a great line of training tools for force on force training, CQB training.
I got a question on the optics stuff. Does the weight, because since this is run with CO2 and shooting, paintballs or rubber balls or whatever it is, does the weight of the optic affect the function of the gun? Can it handle most regular red dot type optics?
Yes. And we don't recommend, the department issued red dot that's on their duty weapon, their primary duty weapon. We also sell replica electronic red dots at a fractional cost of what their duty weapon optic is, cost. We have those where we can sell those at a fraction of the cost for just the training weapon itself.
So it'll still give you a red dot.
100%.
100%. It's lighter, maybe. It's not
probably,
as robust.
It's probably just a little lighter, not much. They're going to be close to the same, and we have different options of those to choose from.
Okay. I didn't realize that. That's cool.
Yes.
It's very cool. Well, one of the fun things when you talk about force on force stuff is there's always stories. There's always lessons learned. So after the break, it's story time. Ruger and Magpul walked into a bar, and somehow, instead of starting a fight, they built a handgun masterpiece, the Ruger RXM. This American-made pistol is everything you want: exceptional ergonomics, upgraded features, and a price tag that won't require selling a kidney. Bottom line, the RXM is built for you, your budget, and your obsession with tweaking your gun until it's just right. So go ahead and make it yours. Ruger and Magpul already did the hard part. Ever wanted to train at a top-tier shooting facility that used to be a slaughterhouse? Well, dreams do come true. Welcome to Range Ready Training, the home of Gun Talk Media, where we turned an abandoned meat processing plant into one of the best firearm training facilities in the country. Led by Chris Serino, Range Ready offers pistol, rifle, women's only, force on force, and instructor development courses. Whether you're a newbie, a pro, or that guy who thinks watching YouTube makes you an expert, we've got a class for you. So if you're serious about getting better, training smarter, and maybe experiencing a little Louisiana charm along the way, come check out Range Ready Training. For 150 years, shooting clay pigeons has been the same old story: pull, bang, dust. But now, thanks to Caldwell, it's time to upgrade your game with the Claycopter, because flinging targets should be just as fun as destroying them. This handheld electric target launcher sends targets up to 100 yards, flying in patterns that actually mimic live birds. Single or double targets? Your call. It's lightweight, rechargeable, and launches 300 targets per charge, meaning the only thing running out of juice first is probably you. Start shooting like you mean it with the Caldwell Claycopter. New from Vortex, it's the Viper Shotgun Enclosed Micro Red Dot. Purpose-built for the fast pace of turkey hunting and wing shooting, the Viper Shotgun Enclosed Micro Red Dot delivers an ultra-low profile design and wide field of view for intuitive shooting and superior recoil control. Its enclosed design and integrated universal mount ensures seamless operation and maximum protection against the elements. You can even use it on other things like a lever gun or a tactical shotgun. Check it out from Vortex, the Vortex Viper Shotgun Enclosed Micro Red Dot. Meet the Smith & Wesson CSX E-Series, because apparently Smith & Wesson took one look at their already great CSX pistol and said, yeah, we can do even better. The new E-Series trigger, crisp, clean, smoother than your grandpa's whiskey. And of course, it's optics ready with a clear sight cut so your fancy red dot won't get blasted with carbon like a neglected grill. With 9mm power, up to 17 rounds, and all the upgrades you never knew you needed, the CSX E-Series isn't just an evolution, it's proof that Smith & Wesson refuses to take a day off. So Mike, we've run all these, I'm not law enforcement, but we've run so many scenarios. You see some crazy stuff. People do some surprising things when you put them under stress in a scenario where it's a 360-degree environment and they're having to discern if someone's a bad guy, if someone's a good guy, if they're just a bystander. And you see some crazy stuff, right?
Oh, for sure. We did training scenarios. I can remember one offhand that always stick with me. We did a hostage situation, a barricaded suspect. but we used the courthouse and the county judge, some of the local attorneys to play that scenario, and I got to play the Op 4 bad guy. And I remember at that time back then when we were on SWAT, our chaplain, the sweetest guy you've ever met, was also our negotiator. And we have another federal agency, helping us with this training. I'm having to sit there and use profanity and everything towards this chaplain. I remember at the end of the training, I went down there and gave him a hug. I said, "I'm so sorry. It tore me apart to have to do what I had to do." You got to make it as realistic as possible, and you're being told,
Yeah.
by the people who were my instructors at that time what to do, telling you how to do it. It was very surreal. I'm glad it was over with. I still this day I feel bad for that chaplain. He's the sweetest guy you ever meet. Wouldn't hurt a fly, but he understood too. I mean, it's basically you got to make it real life.
Man, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Forgive me, Father, I have sinned.
Oh, I went to church.
I'm throwing all kinds of words at you, man.
Yes. Yes, sir.
That's funny though.
Yes, sir.
Because you're right, Mike. When you're playing the bad guy, you have a responsibility to make it as real as possible when you're
100%.
training people up. And we've done some crazy stuff. I mean, and a lot of stuff, the crazy stuff is pulled from the news.
Yes.
I mean, we had one that I've talked about before. I mean, it was pulled from the news where a cop showed up and stopped somebody from setting another person on fire. So
Yes.
it's like you've got, a gas can and we're yelling, "I'm going to set you on fire."
That has happened to me. I actually got paged out. Back when we had pagers, I got paged out on Christmas morning, sitting in church for our Christmas morning service, and we had a guy. And of course, I'm out on the SWAT team. He actually poured gas all over himself and the house, and I had that SWAT call out on Christmas morning. My spouse at the time was not happy. I had to get out of church and leave them, but
Oh my God.
it happens. So
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. It was pulled from the news. Apparently, this happens more than once.
oh yeah, absolutely. Thank goodness we got the guy out through good negotiations, and no one was hurt, and he got the help
Wow.
he needed. So,
That's
but
fantastic.
yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because that story is just to the T, 100% true. Happened here in Western Arkansas when I was active on the SWAT team here in the local agency
Wow.
on Christmas morning.
On Christmas morning.
Yeah,
Hey, the holidays are stressful for all of us. Okay.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Jeez, man. I also recall, sitting in, one of our guys was doing this office scenario, like bad guy shooting scenario, and he's standing there in his office, and it's one of those shoot houses where you have catwalks,
Sure.
and as the good guy is running through the office building, he's looking up at the guys at the catwalk, going, that they're gonna shoot me, right? Like, and he goes, sure enough, the door opens up. I've got my hands up like this, and like, help me! Boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Oh crap!
Yep.
Yep, you just shot an innocent.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, it's crazy. People have to identify because not everything is a target. When you're in your indoor shooting range and everything downrange is a target, but that's one of the big benefits of a force-on-force scenario.
You're 100% right, and that's what the more. What I love about these is they're more budget friendly compared to the others. You get to do it. That's one of our models. You get to train a lot more for less.
Because of the projectiles, right?
Yes. Well, the weapon system and the projectiles are a lot cheaper in price.
I know you guys do a lot of law enforcement. Do people buy these for themselves for just like
All the time. I have
Okay.
officers that will buy. When they use them for the first time, they've liked them so much they will buy one because, like I said, it with the same weight, it has the same muscle memory with the clip, everything of that nature, so they can sit there and practice. So they're drawing a mirror at home, or whatever they do for that muscle memory and for that practice, they do.
Yeah, that's cool. I've even heard of a great way to get new shooters started because there's a little bit of an recoil impulse because the slide reciprocates, but
it has a little blowback.
but it's it makes a little bit of noise. There's a little bit of motion, but it's almost like you're shooting a 22 or
Yes.
something like that. So
Yes.
for new shooters, they can actually handle a real feeling gun, same size and weight, but they're not really worried about.
We have guys that do that without even
Yeah.
using the simunition. They'll just use the CO2 cartridge for the blowback and the pop of the motion as they're training those new shooters, whether
Really?
it be brand new guys out of the academy, where it be a female or even youth shooting clubs. They have done that, and they'll use these for those as well, without even putting the simunition in it.
Well, and then the other thing is, I mean, would it be fair, Mike, to say this is something that you could set up I don't know, a tarp or something, in your garage, and you can actually shoot and target practice with it, right?
I have that. I have that in my own garage.
Yeah.
I've got a portable target stand, and I've got a backdrop where if I do use the paint, the lady's not screaming at me afterwards. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I
What
still
about any other types
still
of?
to this day I do I still continue to train too.
Yeah,
It's repetitiveness.
and I guess we should probably mention this isn't just pistols, correct?
No, we have OP4. I call them like our OP4 weapons that the instructors like. We have a double barrel sawed-off shotgun that's a 68 caliber versus our pistols, which or 43 caliber. We have a couple different shotgun options for sure, and we are in the future. And if you'll forgive me, we are coming out.
Uh-oh.
We are coming out with a new carbine. It's about to go into production. These will be 68 caliber. A lot of our SWAT teams, SRTs, stuff of that nature, they're going to love it. And we're also going to have it in a pepper ball version where you can use it for less lethal or for in correctional facilities.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be great.
That's cool. Yeah,
That's in the works.
probably nice to have that as an option for being able to shoot. I mean, it's still important to be able to shoot accurately, even if it is a pepper ball type projectile, right?
Right. 100%.
Yeah, you're not just spraying into the crowd.
Yeah.
What other kind of lessons what are some of the common lessons that people learn from doing this type of training?
The force, as far as the LE side, LE is going to be completely different from a civilian, but just building that muscle memory, especially if it's a SWAT team, every team leader or team commander, they're going to have a certain way they want things done to a degree. So it's just building that muscle memory, how they want. There's no I in team. They want you working. They want everybody to, in a great flow.
Right.
All getting on the same page.
Yeah. Yeah. What about maintenance on these? Is there a lot that you have to do with them?
There is not. We do have a little silicone oil. They do have seals that'll last quite a few years as long as you keep them oiled from time to time and take care of them. We strongly recommend once you're done training for the day, do not leave a CO2 cartridge in them. Make sure to get that CO2 cartridge out. They're 35 cents. I mean, if you still have air in one, bleed it off, get it out of there. That's just a lot of pressure on those seals. It's going to make it last a lot longer.
Gotcha. That's funny. I never heard of that, but that makes complete sense. It actually take the CO2 out of them. That probably is true for a lot of air guns, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, cool. Mike, what else should we know about what you guys are up to?
We are, we're less, not non-lethal, but less lethal. We have some big surprises coming out towards the latter part of the year, too. So you'll definitely have to get back with me on that. We got some really big stuff that'll be only LE and military only. And that's what I do here at Umarex USA. I do T4E Training for Engagement, the P2P line, Prepared to Protect. And then I'm also now with our UMX line, which I can hopefully here in a few months give you some more detail on. It's going to be a very great product for LE and military only.
Very cool. Well, more training is always good. And if you can make the training not cost as much, maybe they do more training.
That's our motto. With our T4E guns, you're going to get to do a lot more training for less. I know how it is with departments and sheriff's offices, budget.
Yeah.
These here will help budget. You get to do a lot more training for less. We can fit you with the right ammunition of what you need. Like in Florida, I'm not going to push paint as much due to the temperatures and humidity down there. We have a lot of agencies in Florida and South Texas, like San Antonio and Dallas. They love the powder.
Okay.
And, the paint will get soft. If you're doing CQB in a shoot house, like you said, we've had one of those with the catwalk. Our department that I was a part of, we had one of those as well. It was outdoor. I can tell you for a fact our team leader won rubber. The rubber's reusable with no shelf life. The rubber does inflict a little more pain. So There's
A little
different
more learning.
Yes,
We just call
yes,
that more learning.
more learning. That's right. But we have three different options right now with the paint, rubber, and the powder versus other competitors. It's just paint, 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 and the price
Right.
is dramatically higher. We're talking
Yeah.
pennies versus $1.
Yeah. I mean, we've used a bunch of different stuff. I mean, the kind of the pros and cons of a lot of it, but like we were just talking about airsoft earlier today, and as far as what we're talking about for training purposes, airsoft just is kind of I mean, it's a toy,
Right.
and the projectiles aren't going to give you that lessons learned.
Right. And there's a lot of departments that still do use airsoft, but they are transitioning once we get the information in their hands. Like I said, I do a lot of range demos when I do vendor shows around the U.S. I just actually got back from Germany not too long ago for Enforce TAC over there. But once they see it, they're like, "Whoa, this is nice. This has the same weight. This looks identical. We can put our accessories on there. This fits the duty holster in and out perfect." And then I give them the cost and what they think they might buy 4 or 5, they'll buy 10 or 12. They're like, "Hey, I've got this in my budget," and then I'll get emails or calls back where they're just very grateful.
That's great. That's fantastic.
And they get to do a lot more training.
So this isn't just in the U.S. You guys are doing this all over the world.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Well, Mike, thanks for being on with us and talking about it. I mean, if people want to find out more, where do they go?
You can go to Umarex USA. You can get in touch with us. I apologize. Umarex USA info.t4eguns.com.
Or I guess what the listeners will really do is they'll just go into their Google machine and type in T4E, right?
You can do that as well, and you'll get in touch with one of us. I promise you, we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We got some great stuff, and you can get on there too and look at the online catalogs, get a closer look and some of the different options. Like I said, like you said, we got Walther, Smith and Wesson. We have our UMX, like the Glock, and we got a HK VP9. We got some other stuff, like I said, in the works for the future. Just in T4E alone, we got the new carbine that will be launched here soon. I'm excited about that. It is a 68 caliber, so it's going to have a little more punch than the pistols for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
very
looking
cool.
forward to it.
Yeah, you guys go check it out. I mean, we use them. We like them. That's a little behind the scenes of when you see the first person Fender episodes. I mean, for the last several years, T4E is what we've been using as far as those types of training guns. So, and really, honestly, it's been the best of all the different type of force-on-force stuff we've used over the years. This is the best one.
You bet. Man, it was an honor. I greatly thank you for letting me be a part of your podcast, and thank you so much.
Mike, thanks again.
Yes, sir.
It's been good talking with you. You guys, thanks for listening, and we will see you next time on Gun Talk Nation.